Hello everyone! On this channel, we make math easy and enjoyable to understand. Today, we're going to explore an intriguing and essential math topic, the arithmetic sequence. First up in our discussion is the foundation of it all, number sequences. Definition of number sequence is the list of numbers that follow a specific pattern or rule. Let me introduce you to the elements of a number sequence using a simple example. Each number in the sequence is called a term. Each term is identified by its position in the sequence, such as the first term, second term, third term, and so on, up to the nth term. In mathematical terms, we represent the first term as a sub 1, the second term as a sub 2, the third term as a sub 3, and so on, any terms in the sequence, the nth term, also known as the general term, as a sub n. Every number sequence has a first term, but not all of them have a last term. If you see dots at the end of the sequence, it means the sequence has infinite terms. It is called an infinite sequence. Otherwise, it has a finite number of terms. It is called a finite sequence. As I mentioned earlier, each number sequence follows a specific rule, which allows us to predict the next terms in the sequence. I'm confident that you'll be able to spot the pattern in each sequence and figure out the next terms with ease. Now that we've covered the basics, we're ready to dive into a special type of number sequence, which is the arithmetic sequence. An arithmetic sequence is a number sequence in which between any two consecutive terms is constant. Let me share two examples of arithmetic sequences. To determine if a given number sequence is an arithmetic sequence, there must be a common difference between consecutive terms. The differences between consecutive terms are 3. Therefore, we refer to this as the common difference, which confirms that this is an arithmetic sequence. In the second sequence, the difference between consecutive terms is -4. Since this difference remains consistent, we call it the common difference, confirming that this is indeed an arithmetic sequence. Example, consider the sequence 2, 7, 12. Determine the common difference. First, let's define the terms as the first, second, and third terms. Next, let's check the difference between each pair of consecutive terms. The difference is 5, which means the common difference is 5. Now, let's move on to part B of the question. What is the fifth term? This is our first example. Please listen to the explanation step by step. In an arithmetic sequence, to find the next terms, we add the common difference to the previous term. From the diagram, we can express the fifth term, a5, in terms of the first term, a1, and the common difference, d. Therefore, a5 equals to a1 plus for d. Let me substitute the numbers into the equation. By doing so, we calculate the fifth term to be 22. Part C of the question is to determine the nth term. To illustrate the general idea, I'll write down a few terms in terms of the first term and the common difference. From the diagram, we can see that a2 is 1 step away from a1. a3 is 2 steps away from a1. a4 is 3 steps away from a1. And a5 is 4 steps away from a1. However, we can't directly count how many steps an is away from a1. To get the general idea, I'll rewrite the number of steps in terms of the position of the terms in the sequence. Now, pay attention to the coefficient of the common difference. It can be written as the difference between the position of the term and the first term. From this observation, we can derive the general term using this approach. an equals to a1 plus n minus 1 times common difference. Now that we've determined the general term for any arithmetic sequence, we can apply it to our example by simply substituting first term and the common difference into the equation. The final part of the question is to find the 50th term of the sequence. Of course, to find any term in the sequence, I'll use the general term formula. By simply substituting the values into the formula, I can easily calculate the 50th term as required. Today, an arithmetic sequence was discussed. The relationship between consecutive terms was explored, the general term was defined, and its application in solving problems was demonstrated. I hope the lesson was enjoyable. To further improve, it is recommended to watch the videos where related questions are solved.